I thought I needed a breakthrough. Turns out I just had to keep hitting the same thing, hard and consistently, every day, until I became damn good at it. There's this stupid little moment I keep reliving, every night, around 11:40 p.m. I'm lying in bed, lights off, face lit by the blue glow of my phone, and I pull down the top bar to check the battery. 3%. No joke, it's almost always 3%. And I just stare at it for a second like it's a sign from the universe or something. Some silent little mirror saying, yeah, you too, man. You're running on empty. And I don't even do anything about it. I just plug it in, roll over, open TikTok, and keep going. You'd think I'd get tired of it. The endless scrolling, the dumb trends, the fake motivation speeches chopped into a podcast clip with stock footage of someone running through rain. But honestly, it's the only thing that lets me forget for a few hours that everything else is falling apart. I'm 24. I was supposed to have started something by now. A career. A relationship. An identity. All I've got is a half-finished marketing degree I don't even like, a job at a print shop that's slowly going out of business, and an apartment I share with a guy who steals my oat milk and doesn't flush. I don't talk to my old friends anymore. Not really. We send memes back and forth and reply LOL to each other's stories, but that's it. My parents think I'm doing great because I don't tell them shit. I just smile on video calls and say things like, yeah, they might promote me soon, and, no, I haven't met anyone special yet, but I'm keeping busy. What the hell does that even mean, keeping busy? I spend half my time working and the other half convincing myself not to disappear. I eat like garbage. I sleep at 3 a.m. I can't remember the last time I woke up excited for something. December came out of nowhere. I didn't even notice how far gone the year was until Spotify Wrapped slapped me in the face with a playlist full of sad indie shit I don't even remember listening to. And that's when my mom called and said, honey, we really want you home for the holidays this year. Don't make me beg. I didn't want to go. The idea of being around smiling people and pretending everything's fine made me nauseous. But I also didn't want to spend Christmas alone eating leftover ramen and watching Instagram stories of people who made better choices. So I booked the flight. Got the cheapest ticket I could find, packed a single bag, and dragged myself to the airport like I was heading to jury duty. The flight was full. Of course it was. I got the middle seat, right between a teenager with a gaming laptop and an old man who looked like he should have died 10 years ago but was too stubborn to go. From the moment I sat down, I could feel myself vibrating. Not literally, but you know, like, twitchy. Anxious. I kept unlocking my phone, refreshing nothing, switching between apps like I was searching for some kind of digital dopamine hit that would fix me. I adjusted my headphones, turned the volume up, changed songs 5 times in the span of 1 minute. And I guess I was bouncing my leg or maybe tapping my fingers on the armrest or doing something annoying without realizing it, because the old guy next to me suddenly grunted and muttered, Jesus, sit still. I blinked, pulled out one earbud, and looked at him. Sorry. He didn't even turn to me. Just kept staring straight ahead like I wasn't worth the energy. With all that jitterin', no wonder your brain's scrambled. Can't build a life like that. You'll just chase your own tail till you drop. I wanted to say something clever. Something rude. But instead, I just stared at him. Because part of me knew, deep down, he wasn't wrong. And that pissed me off more than anything. I don't know why I didn't just put the earbud back in. Normally I would've. I'm not exactly in the business of entertaining random old dudes with opinions, especially when I'm 30,000 feet in the air and trapped beside them. But something about the way he said it, not cruel, not even condescending, just like he'd seen it all before, it stuck in my chest like a splinter. I stayed quiet for a bit, staring at the seat in front of me. Then I mumbled, well, you make it sound so simple. Just, sit still and everything works out. He finally turned his head toward me. He had these pale eyes, like snow melt. Didn't say it's simple. Just said you won't get anywhere if your whole damn body's vibrating like a washing machine on spin cycle. I smirked, despite myself. So what, then? You found peace by standing still. What did that get you? He didn't flinch. Degree. Career. Wife. 2 kids. A garage full of broken skis I can't throw away, 'cause they all mean something. And a bakery I ran for 26 years. I blinked. Wait. You owned a bakery. Still do, technically. My daughter runs it now. Best croissants this side of the Rockies. He leaned back and crossed his arms like that was the end of it. But I couldn't help it, something in me snapped. Okay, but come on. That was your time. You could just show up, work hard, and get somewhere. It doesn't work like that now. You have to be fast, flashy. Nobody tells you how to build anything anymore. They just show you the finish line on Instagram. He gave a long sigh. Not annoyed, just tired, like he's heard this speech 100 times. Son, he said, you don't need flash. You need rhythm. Repetition. You ever see an excavator work? I frowned. What? An excavator. Big dumb machine. Moves one scoop of dirt at a time. Looks slow. But you come back in 2 days and there's a whole goddamn hole in the ground. Big enough to build a skyscraper in. I let that settle. I didn't answer right away. Just stared at the tray table in front of me, like maybe the truth was carved into the plastic. So you're saying I'm not digging? I asked finally. I'm saying, he said, you're too busy poking the ground in different places, hoping one of them turns into gold. I laughed, but it wasn't the funny kind. More like a release. Like air out of a tire. Maybe I am. He didn't gloat. Didn't say I told you so. Just sat there, arms folded, watching the clouds slide by. And then I said it. Quietly. Almost like a dare. Then teach me. He turned back to me. Didn't smile, didn't nod. Just looked me up and down like I was a stray dog that followed him home. All right, he said after a beat. You got anything better to do over the holidays? Not really. Good. I'm up at 6. Don't be late. I should have felt weird about it. I mean, who the hell says yes to life advice from some old guy on a plane? But truth is, it was the most clarity I'd had in months. And when we landed, and I watched him shuffle off the jet bridge with his scarf flapping behind him like he'd been doing the same exact walk for 1,000 years, I followed him. I didn't even think twice. Not because I thought he had all the answers. But because for the first time in a long damn while, I was ready to stop scrolling and start digging. He lived about 20 minutes from my parents' place, in one of those old houses that still smelled like actual wood and burnt coffee. When I told my mom I'd be spending most of the holidays with a guy I met on the plane, she looked at me like I'd joined a cult. I didn't explain. I didn't really know how to. It's not like I was becoming someone else, I was just tired of being who I was. And he didn't treat it like some special mentorship either. The first morning, 6 a.m. sharp, he handed me a shovel and pointed to a half-frozen patch of earth behind his garage. The dirt's too hard, I said. He shrugged. So keep digging. That's the job. That kind of set the tone. No lectures. No dramatic breakthroughs. Just little tasks. Cleaning tools. Moving firewood. Sorting screws in old jam jars. He called it useful silence. At first, my body hated it. Everything was stiff. My hands ached. I kept checking my phone out of reflex, but there were no notifications. No one was looking for me. On day 3, I left it on airplane mode and didn't touch it once. It felt weird. And then, it felt good. I learned things I didn't think I'd ever need: how to oil a hinge so it doesn't squeal, how to cook eggs that don't taste like depression, how to properly fold a damn fitted sheet. But what I was really learning was something else. Something slower. He never said it, but I could feel it: rhythm. Repetition. Excavator shit. Wake up. Move. Breathe. Try. That was the real lesson. At night we sat at his kitchen table and he'd pour 2 glasses of whatever whiskey he had stashed in the cupboard. He told me stories, not in some big, Hollywood monologue way, just little pieces that added up. His wife, gone now 10 years, used to call him the glacier. Said he was slow, but you couldn't stop him. He showed me an old photo of them on skis in matching jackets. She was the fire. I was the ground. He said it so simply I nearly cried. One afternoon, near the end of the week, I caught myself smiling while organizing a box of rusted nails by size. Who the hell was I? I didn't even care. I slept better than I had in years. My mind stopped buzzing. And one day I looked at my phone out of habit. It was 4:30 p.m. battery at 68%. I actually laughed. Like, out loud. What's funny? He asked, sanding a chair leg nearby. Nothing, I said. Just, finally keeping a charge. He didn't ask what I meant. He just nodded like he understood anyway. The morning I left, he handed me a folded sheet of yellow paper. What's this? I asked, half smiling. He shrugged. Instructions. I opened it when I got back to my parents' house. It was a list. No fancy words. Just lines like, wake up at the same time every day. Leave the phone in another room. Cut your own damn nails. Always bring something when you visit someone. Stack your plates after dinner, even in restaurants. At the bottom, one line underlined twice, dig the dirt in front of you. Nothing else. That was it. That was his entire gospel. And I don't know what I expected when I got back to the city, but I'll tell you this, I didn't crash. I didn't backslide. I didn't magically become a Newman either, but something stuck. I stopped checking my phone first thing in the morning. I started setting a timer when I opened social media, 15 minutes max. I wrote out what I wanted to get done each day, even the stupid stuff. Take trash out. Email Josh. Stretch. I started cooking. Real food. Eggs. Rice. Chicken that didn't come frozen with weird grill marks already on it. I didn't try to become an entrepreneur or run a marathon or start a podcast. I just showed up. Repeatedly. Like the excavator. I still work at the print shop. But I asked to take on more. Learned the software. Started helping with design requests. I'm not a genius, but I'm moving. Slow. Consistent. I signed up for a night course in photography, just to have something that's mine. And I call my parents every Sunday. Real calls, not just to say, yeah, I'm fine. 2 weeks ago I went on a second date with someone I actually like. I told her about the old man. She said he sounds like a legend. Yeah, I said. He kind of is. And now, every night around 11:40 p.m., I still check my battery. Not because I'm desperate or addicted, just out of habit. It's become a little ritual. A pulse check. Most days it reads somewhere around 60 to 70%. Some nights it even says 82%. I look at it, nod to myself, and think, yeah. I'm still charging. And then I plug it in, turn off the lights, and sleep like someone who knows where the ground is. I didn't think I'd end up driving strangers around at 29. Not that there's anything wrong with it, I mean, people hustle however they can, but it wasn't in the plan. I used to wear button-downs and build reports in Excel that made middle managers nod like I'd handed them the secrets of the universe. Now I check my daily earnings between rides and calculate if I can afford gas and dinner. Most nights I can't. It's not dramatic. No rock bottom, no eviction, no screaming into a void. Just this quiet, constant erosion, the slow kind where you don't even notice what's gone until you try to remember who you were a year ago and draw a blank. I was let go 8 months ago. Downsizing. They were restructuring the data division, which is just corporate for, good luck out there. At first I thought I'd land somewhere quick. My resume's solid. But the interviews were cold, the replies slower than molasses, and eventually they stopped coming. And when the savings dried up, I swallowed my pride and downloaded the rideshare apps. I told myself it was temporary. A stopgap. But stopgaps have a way of becoming your whole damn life. Now I know all the shortcuts through downtown. I can read a rider's vibe in 6 seconds. I know which gas stations let you use the bathroom without asking. Survival skills. No one claps for them. But I've got them. Most weeks, I break even. Sometimes I even manage a beer with a friend or a few bucks sent to my mom just to make her think I'm okay. She doesn't know I ration breakfast. Or that I've started calculating what things cost in hours behind the wheel instead of dollars. But the weirdest part? Every Saturday, I volunteer at a food bank. My ex signed me up for it back when we were still together, said we should give back, like we were those kinds of people. After she left, I just never stopped going. It became part of the loop. Pull the crates. Check expiration dates. Smile at the people picking up groceries and pretend like I'm not slowly becoming one of them. Last week, I caught myself eyeing the bags of rice and thinking how long one could last me. That's when it hit me. I'm not far. One dead tire or ER visit away from being on the other side of the table. And yeah, maybe that scared me. Or maybe it just felt inevitable. Still, I showed up. Another gray Saturday. Cold air leaking through the warehouse. The same faces. The same dusty crates. But that day, there was someone new. She was unpacking canned tomatoes in a Team Ziploc hoodie and humming to herself like she'd been doing it forever. I didn't say anything at first. Just worked next to her, half asleep in my own head. But she turned to me at some point, held up a dented can and said, "You think this still counts as Best Buy or more like Guess Buy?" I laughed harder than I had all week. Her name was Emily. Same age as me, though she looked like someone who actually got enough sleep and drank water for reasons other than to swallow Advil. We talked while unpacking a whole pallet of canned corn, one of those conversations that starts with dumb jokes and ends up somewhere way deeper without you even realizing it. She asked what I did for work, and I gave her the half-truth I usually tell strangers: I freelance. It's not a lie, technically. Sometimes I do get small gigs, data cleanup, a dashboard here or there, but nothing steady. Nothing that pays more than gas and guilt. But she just tilted her head, like she could tell. You're too tired to be freelancing. You've got that I'm doing what I can energy. I didn't argue. We ended up going for coffee after the shift. Not a date, just one of those, we're both hungry and there's a decent spot across the street, situations. I didn't expect much. But she was easy to talk to. The kind of person who listens without scanning the room every 5 seconds or waiting for her turn to speak. And at some point, after I rambled a bit too honestly about how I was, just trying to not slide backward, she set her cup down and said, "You know, my firm's running this hiring bootcamp thing." I raised an eyebrow. Like a training course. Kind of, she said. 3 weeks. Real projects. Feedback. Competitive. Top 3 get offers. I let out a dry laugh. Yeah. I'm probably not the bootcamp type. She didn't push. Just shrugged and said, "Maybe. Maybe not. You seem smarter than your circumstances." That line hit me harder than I expected. Smarter than your circumstances. I'd never put it that way before. I'd just called myself lazy, unlucky, average, broken, but never that. The next day she texted me the sign-up link. I stared at it for 2 hours before clicking. The application asked for a short statement: "Why do you want to join this program?" I typed, deleted, rewrote, then finally just wrote, "I'm tired of standing still." I got the acceptance email 3 days later. The first day of the bootcamp felt like walking into a room where everyone already knew each other and had read the manual I never got. Half the people were younger, louder, or dressed like they owned tech startups. The other half looked like LinkedIn profiles come to life. And then there was me, wearing my only button-up, trying not to sweat through it, wondering if anyone else had driven Uber that morning to get here. The assignments were brutal. Real client briefs, tight deadlines, constant feedback from mentors who didn't sugarcoat anything. I hadn't focused this hard on anything in years. My brain felt rusty, like I had to scrape off a layer of mental dust before I could even think straight. I almost quit on day 4. My laptop froze, I lost an entire pitch deck, and I sat in the stairwell of the office building with my head in my hands, thinking, I'm not built for this anymore, and then my phone buzzed. "Emily, asterisk, how's it going? Need a coffee break or a scream session?" Asterisk, I didn't reply right away. But just knowing someone out there saw me in this mess, that kept me from walking out. I stayed. I fixed the file. I redid the work. The next day I came in early. That turned into a habit. I started staying late, too. Somewhere in week 2, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: momentum. I stopped checking my earnings app every hour. I started thinking about ideas instead of just problems. Emily would check in every few days. Sometimes we'd grab dinner after I wrapped. Nothing heavy. Burgers. Noodles. She'd ask about my presentations, and I'd try to act chill while secretly hoping she thought I was actually good at this. The final project was a group challenge. 3 days, 1 brand, 1 chance. I led the pitch. I didn't ask to, it just happened. And when I looked around at the team, no one questioned it. Like I'd earned it. Like I belonged there. When they called my name at the final presentation, I thought it was a mistake. I stared at the envelope in my hand, offer letter, salary, benefits, a desk with my name on it, and waited to feel like a fraud. But I didn't. Not this time. My first day at the new job didn't feel like a victory lap. It felt like stepping into a life I'd somehow snuck into. But the difference this time was, I didn't immediately assume I'd get kicked out. The office was in a bright space near the river, lots of glass and quiet hums of keyboards and espresso machines. People nodded when I walked in. My badge worked. My email signature looked real. It was small stuff, but to someone who'd lived on the edge of every bill, every week, it was everything. Emily swung by my desk around 11. She handed me a pastry in a paper bag, smiled, and whispered, "See? I told you." I smiled back, but I didn't say anything. I was afraid if I opened my mouth too wide, everything might fall out, the relief, the panic, the gratitude, all of it. I didn't want to cry on my first day. We still volunteer on Saturdays. That's kind of our thing now. Same food bank, same crates, same rusted dolly with the busted wheel that makes that awful sound every time you turn left. People still think we're just co-workers when they see us. We never really said we're dating, it just became true somewhere between weeknight takeout and folding each other's laundry. I still drive sometimes, not for money, just out of habit, to clear my head. That old sedan got me through hell, and I haven't had the heart to sell it. Sometimes, when we leave the food bank, we drive out to the edge of the city and just sit in the car with the windows down, talking about nothing. I told her once that I used to think life-changing moments were these huge cinematic explosions. Promotions, weddings, viral videos, you know, stuff that comes with background music. But now I think maybe the real ones are just quiet Saturdays with someone who sees you packing cans of chickpeas and thinks, yeah, that's someone I want in my life. Funny how it all started with a shift I didn't even sign myself up for. I guess some of the best things do. Subscribe, hit the like button, and explore more fascinating stories.